Hello, good people. I think we are live, but y'all know I'm going to waste a little time as I post the link here to Twitter. We've been off a couple weeks, not intentional. We always tell y'all things happen. Last week it was the weather, knocked my power out. Well, not the power. The power kind of flickered and was fine, but knocked out the internet in my area. So I mean, it was funny. Smitty texted me right as I was about to text him saying, "Hey, we doing the show," and I had to hit him back and say, "Man, I have no internet, had no ability to do it." The week before that, I don't know what happened, but we are here now. So, like I said, guys, we're always going to try to bring a show to you when we can. We're going to try to stay consistent, get back on our consistent weekly schedule unless things happen. You know, again, we don't do this for a living. It's not ESPN. So when life happens, whether it's myself or Smitty, we got to do that first. And let's be honest, it's kind of worked out for us now because it's not a ton to talk about anyway. So it's not like we've missed much. But tonight, we are going to give you guys try to do a pretty action-packed show, if you will. We try to condense it now within to an hour or what have you. But we got quite a bit to talk about that we didn't cover. We're definitely going to talk about the Lakers missing the playoffs. I think we're going to kick off with that. I can't wait to hear Smitty's take on that because and it's fair criticism, but Smitty gives LeBron the business, and sometimes it's warranted. So I can't wait to hear Smitty's take on that. I have not talked to him about it, so it's going to be very organic. We will talk about what's going on with EA Sports, EA in general, state of the games, EA Play being canceled. So we'll dive into that and we'll try to give our opinion on what that means. And then I guess the last thing we'll talk about, man, we'll talk a little bit about NFL free agency, man, and the different moves and things that have happened, and quarterbacks in different places, and Tariq Hill in different places, little stuff like that me and Smitty haven't covered in the last shows that we were here. So that's pretty much what we're going to dive into. And like I said, we don't waste too much time now. We just get right in since the show is a little shorter now. Who knows? Maybe we'll start calling it the Sim Standard Power Hour, something like that. I don't know. But Smitty, first and foremost, how you been? I know I've kind of talked to you offline, but the people haven't heard from you, and you can go right into the Lakers. Let's dive right into LeBron and the Lakers, man. But what's been going on, Smitty?
No, I've been good, man. Like I'll save the Lions talk for when we talk about free agency kind of stuff and everything when we get to that. But everything's been good. Watching the Pistons season play out some. Nice to see Killian Hayes start to come around some. And
yeah,
I mean, I know it's late, but he's been playing off the bench, so he's basically been that secondary starter, and his game's progressing more. It's like if he just gets his shot decent and he takes more volume with his shot, he can do some damage in the league for real. Like he shows those signs, but he just has to believe in himself enough, I believe. But getting into this, man, gonna start right off top, man. Look, Lakers, bro. Man, I mean, dude, how in the world? See, this is the thing as well. I think they said it on ESPN. Y'all correct me in the chat. These dudes don't have a first round pick for like the next 4-7 years, I think, because of all the trade capital they leveraged over these past few years. Like, I could be wrong. You have no first round picks. So you got to trade assets away in order to even get a possible draft pick from somebody else in terms of a first rounder going forward. That sucks to be in the lottery and you ain't got nothing to get. But this is the thing. Look, first things first, let me make this part crystal clear. LeBron James, phenomenal player, 37 years old, top, scorer in the league. That's insane. That's insane. So nothing took away from him. Okay, he didn't go down with any serious injury until the latter part of the season, mainly. I get it. But like they've been saying, and these are all interesting points. Excuse me, San Antonio Spurs. They traded away one of their better players at the deadline. So it looked like those dudes were straight going for rebuild mode, basically. Not necessarily going for playoffs, not necessarily going for a title, but they beat y'all. I think Dejounte Murray didn't even play the other night, and they beat y'all. And that he's their best player. No DeMar DeRozan, no Kawhi Leonard no more. All that gone. And y'all couldn't beat them? Even if it was just Anthony Davis with Carmelo and Russell. Those are three of the supposed top 75 all-time great players you got on your team that are active players. And y'all laid a goose egg out there, man. I mean, just not that Spurs game, but just across the board. I mean, like, what was it they also said? They said Stephen A had made the point. He said the New Orleans Pelicans started out 3-16. They're in the playing game. No Zion. And remember, Lonzo Ball was traded away. I think they traded Lonzo away, or he just left on free agency. But that's the point. The key guys gone, or gone due to injury. I know they got McCollum at All-Star break, but still, those guys were able to figure it out enough to get it going. John Morant, he's missed over 20 games this season due to injury. Those dudes got a win. I think they said their record was like 20-2 or 21, and 20-2 or something like that, with John Morant out the game. Phoenix Suns lost Devin Booker for stretches, lost CP3 for stretches. Best record in the West. See what I'm saying? And they kept it. Nuggets missing Jamal Murray. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is Miami Heat. Those guys ball. And see, this is why I look at that bubble championship, and I said, if Bam Adebayo was not hurt, because Jimmy Butler got hurt as well and still tried to play, and you had what's the name? Dragic, he was hurt too. Like, those are those three guys. If they had their guys, I don't think that Lakers team wins. I mean, you got to give it to them. The win's a win. You made it to the finals. Unfortunately, their star power went down, and they got ran out the building. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate the timing, but that's what happened. But the point of the matter is that you look at that Miami team now, they're not superstar studded. Obviously, they ain't no 75 great players on that team. Same thing with, look at the Milwaukee Bucks as well. These guys are teams. They built their chemistry. They won together. They lost together. They struggled together. And now look what they're able to look where they're at. You see what I'm saying? It's just like people questioning Philly right now with the Harden thing, because they didn't took some L's. We beat them, for crying out loud. And they were playing with their dudes. You know what I'm saying? And we won. So it's like that chemistry thing is what matters the most. You got to have players that just aren't just playing because they're names, but you gotta buy into what you're doing. You guys, now whether it's Rob Pelinka, whoever it is that let KCP go, y'all traded KCP, I think, or whatever, but y'all traded him or let him go, and y'all let Alex Caruso walk. Y'all shouldn't have let those dudes walk out the building without a deal. You need to keep that team together. That's the that's the big time problem with LeBron teams. because LeBron basically you crop dust everybody to win now or potentially win now by getting these superstar pieces, but the problem is they all come at a very high cost. Like LA's future is done. Anthony Davis, that dude don't take LeBron. He just needs wherever LeBron stays at, whether he's staying in LA, Cleveland, wherever he goes in the summertime, he need to go right with him. He need to move out his house and pack a bag and say, I'm staying with you and I'm working out. When you work out, I'm meeting all your nutritionists, everybody. Because that don't make no sense for you to be going down the way you keep going down, man. That ain't cutting it, dog. So it's like he has to learn to take care of himself. But on top of that, that team had no chemistry. That's the reason why those guys lost. It's not because I'm not going to say it's not because of age. You got to have chemistry. That's the bottom line. It can't just be a bunch of names and that's it. It's got to be about the game, and that's all. You know what I'm saying? When you guys are just, and that's the game that Laker played. They played the name game. Oh, we got Russell Westbrook along with AD and Carmelo and Dwight. Like we acting like Dwight Howard was averaging 15 and 10 this year. That dude barely did anything. The way he looks on that team, he looks like a shell of himself. Like he should have just quit. To be quite honest, DeAndre Jordan got out of there. You know what I'm saying? He went over there to Philly. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, these dudes. The rookie that y'all were talking about was good, Horton Tucker. Y'all didn't use him often. Like, you got to get these dudes. Horton Tucker, what's his name? Austin Rivers. He did decently. But Stanley Johnson, and that's like I say, you have stretches during the season where they're spotlighting Stanley Johnson and Austin Rivers. When and it's not a bad thing that they are, but it's a bad thing when they're the highlight. And I'm talking about as LA was struggling and losing and all that stuff. Like, see, that's the problem. LeBron is a team leader, but he is not a leader on the floor. He's not what Steph Curry is for the Warriors. He's not what Draymond Green is, I should say, for the Warriors. That dude is glue on that court. He's huge for their success. And that's my point. It didn't matter what lineup you put out there for LA. They all lost. There was no real glue lineup. It was just, well, LeBron got to be there because he scores the most points.
But that's the crazy thing. Him himself had a good season.
Like he balled. That's what I'm saying. Like he had a great season. Man. But that's the crazy part about it. You had a great season as an individual.
Yeah.
But you didn't lead nobody. And that's the one thing. That's the one thing I look at, and I just want to say this about Westbrook real quick. That's why I look at him averaging the triple-double all that time, to me, was a placebo stat pad. Because if you averaging a triple-double, there's no way you should be getting bounced out the playoffs the way he was. And I mean, when he was in OKC mainly, you should have been further than that. Like, if you're averaging that, your team should be. If Jason Kidd averaged that when he played, the Nets would have been clicking way better than the way they were, and they were a good team. But if they legit averaged if he averaged a triple double, for real, nah, dude, that'd be insane. But that's what I'm just saying. Like, your team chemistry should be extremely tight knit. If you're legitimately averaging that many rebounds and you're getting those assists. And no, LeBron didn't lead anybody, man. He didn't lead anyone. I'm sorry. I know. There are going to be some LeBron stands in here, and or if you just believe, that's fine. But he's not leading anyone. I mean, I'm sorry. He led the team. He led the team in points. He ain't. You think about this for 1 second. He had 3 other future Hall of Fame caliber players on his team, and nobody bought in. That's the how you got Russell Westbrook sitting up there post game interview. I got no expectations. How you got no expectations? LeBron sought you out to get you on that team, and this is late into the season, and you said, "Yeah, I ain't got no expectations on this team." Like what? And this is after you lose a game. Like that's what I'm talking about, man. Listen, Dennis Rodman was a wild fella, but at the same time, he still bought in, and Jordan and them had to reel him in. You know what I mean? Because he was a wild fella, but at the same time, they still made him feel involved. Because remember, like, even if you watch that Jordan documentary, Pippen was out for a stretch, and it was him and Rodman. He was leaning on Rodman, and now Rodman, the most offensively deficient player on their team, but yet he was leaning on him on both ends of the floor. And that's my point. You gotta, if you have a guy that's averaging a triple freaking double, you gotta be like, yo, we gotta reel him in. I know you used to running fast pace and everything like that, but this is what we gotta do because we gotta make this thing work. Have your initial struggles, reel it in over the course of the season. Boom, boom, boom. All of y'all should be on one accord. Period. And it's like y'all, nobody bought in. No one bought in. No one was on accord. Nobody was in. It was just names. And that's literally it. Like, I'm sorry. He said LeBron got Westbrook as a scapegoat. I mean, he does, but he doesn't because it ain't gonna cut it. Like LeBron, listen, LeBron has played a role in these teams being the way they are. Look who they gave up, and look what those players are doing now. Kyle Kuzma, balling. Brandon Ingram, balling. Lonzo Ball, balling. Julius Randle, balling. Who else? Are those the names? I think that's everybody. But yet, those are the dudes you leveraged to get AD. Now, you won the ring in the bubble and all that stuff. I'm not going to excuse it. I'm not going to, I know people have their sentiments about the bubble.
People said it don't count.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's the wildest statement in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can say all of that, but there were other teams in the bubble.
Exactly.
So whatever excuse people want, listen, I'm not advocating for LeBron, but whatever excuse people want to say about, that doesn't count, why not? There were other teams in there. Like Smitty had a better point. Smitty said, hey, man, I think if Van wouldn't have got hurt, that's a fair point. But you're not hearing Smitty saying it don't count.
Yeah. No,
I don't understand that.
Man. It counts. I can't do that. That's like saying if the Bucks were to make the finals again this year and then Giannis goes down after game 1 and then they lose the series. It's like it still goes on. It still counts. You know what I'm saying? You played the season out. It just sucks that it happens at that point, but it still goes on. Like it still counts, man. So that's why I'm not gonna take that ring away from LA because it's in the bubble. Like it sucks the way that it ended because I would have loved to see these two teams at full strength go, but that didn't happen. So, but I mean, look, at the end of the day, like they said, that's the one thing they were talking about. They could have got DeMar DeRozan and Buddy Hield over there.
Yeah, buddy.
That may have made a big difference. I can't say. And I mean, see, this is the other thing too. We can say that because of what DeMar is doing in Chicago. Not necessarily how it would have worked if he had came to the Lakers.
Exactly. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Same thing, Buddy Hield, same deal. Because once again, Kent Bazemore was a legit player before he came over to LA, and now he vanished. Remember Rodney Hood before he came to the Cavs when LeBron was there? Hood was averaging 17 points a game in Utah. Came over to the Cavs. That dude barely got off the bench. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like these dudes can't play. It's just, it just really depends on the situation. Like, I'm not saying, LeBron's controlling the minutes. No junk like that. But it's just like, I don't know. It's like certain people get the nod and that's it. It's like they're doing everything they can to possibly win, and that's all. But yeah, I'm sorry. They need to have a team. And I mean, my man, what do you say? Hines there, who's responsible for them not playing defense. I mean, Frank Vogel, listen, Frank Vogel is a very defensive minded coach, but at the same time, the players have to respect the coach. If you don't respect your coach, and I mean, look, last time I checked, no disrespect, but I don't see LeBron playing defense like that. I don't see Russell Westbrook. I don't see him play defense like that. We all know Carmelo Anthony is defensively deficient. Dwight Howard is a shell of what he used to be as a true defender. In terms of bigs like that, he gets blended by these bigs out here now. Who else they got? Like, I mean, you don't have, and that's the thing, you don't have anyone that's a true defensive threat. Anthony Davis is supposed to be your defensive stopper, but he can't be on the floor.
Don't get me started on AD.
He can't be on the floor, man. Like,
oh man.
So I mean, I'll just say, I'll sum it at this: the Lakers getting dropped off. It's funny. It's sad because it's sad in this sense. LeBron at his age right now is going all out, balling the way he's balling, and that sucks. And you know what sucks even more? I'm sorry, I just thought about this because I saw it on Twitter like earlier. LeBron up here saying he would like to play for Stephen Curry. Like, what? What is that now? So are you trying to?
I saw something like that.
Yeah, like, is he trying to some way make a verbal play to get out of LA and go to Golden State or something? Like, I hope they push that out of the way. Like, nah, you got that big old contract. Get all your money out of LA. Get all your money in and stay there, man. Like, nah, we don't need you messing nothing up over here. We work differently over here at Golden State. Like, nah, man. But I'm just saying, man, look, LA with this team and the injuries involved, still could have built the chemistry they needed to build and still could have been, I would say, the way this season went, if they honestly figured things out and worked things out way better than the way they handled it, I could definitely see them being a 5th or a 6th seed in the West. Because I mean, and I'm talking about, you're going against all these other teams that have much better established chemistry. Their talent is consistent, things like that. So like, I don't think LA would go that high as far as elevating with the injuries and stuff like that. But they should have been way better than where they ended up at. I mean, regardless of AD going down and Russell and all, they could have done way better. So at some point, I mean, listen, get mad at the coach if you want, get mad at the GM if you want. You also, there's a lot of accountability that falls on the shoulders of the players that they all have to take. And I mean, yes, it starts with LeBron because he's the leader of that team. And I know he has a say in terms of what direction they need to go in to, so that way he'll stay there and try and win. And I mean, I'm sorry, they tried, but I don't even know how they're going to possibly move. I mean, unless they pull up some wizardry in free agency, they've leveraged. I mean, I don't know how much more of their future they could leverage, to try and get something possible to work, because Westbrook has a hefty contract, on him. And then LeBron, if he rees up with LA, he's gonna be owed like I forgot how much money, but it's gonna be like close to 100 mil in the next 2 seasons if he stays, if he goes back. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him stay another 2 years because look how he's playing. You know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't surprise me at all if he stayed for another 2 seasons and called it a wrap. So, but
I keep knocking out this headset.
Oh.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, guys, I wanted to hear Smitty's take because, you know, Smitty is probably he digests basketball a little more than I do. I'll just be brief. I mean, LeBron definitely, you know, LeBron deserves some of the criticism, like Smitty said, if he's the face of the team, and I get it. But I think sometimes, and I'm not saying Smitty, I'm just saying as a whole, I think sometimes, I think some people go a little overboard with the LeBron criticism as far as like, now what is true is if you understand what Smitty was saying, what is true is LeBron constructs his teams a certain way. I think that's been documented throughout his career. I can't go as far as saying that nobody, I can't go as far as saying he doesn't build anybody up. I mean, you know, him and Wade worked very well together in that team in Miami. The team in Cleveland with him and Kyrie and Love and whoever else. I know it was friction there, but they won a chip. You know, but this particular team, I didn't think this was going to work from the beginning. Remember, me and Smitty might have even said it here on the show. Westbrook to the Lakers. It was like, I don't know. And everybody kept saying, well, what if they make it work? It was already a what if. I'm not surprised at all. Westbrook stunk it up this year. AD, can you be available? And it's, you know, to me, it's not a one-man team. Of course, you got to blame LeBron for all of the package that he brings, like Smitty said, constructing the team, would say he has. But I think some people are overly criticizing him for the failures of this season. And I'm like, you can't put it squarely on him. Definitely give a chunk of it to him, but I don't think it's all. And again, one of the things Smitty said that I continue to say, the dude is 37 years old. Now, it's not an old man in the world, but he's been in the league. Like, people still on him like that in his 18th season. Like, that's, to me, it's like at some point, LeBron ain't going to be the man. Like, he's just not. It's ever, you know, that's just the cycle. Even though he's still balling. That's the crazy thing. This dude's still, and that's the thing. It was an individual, but this dude is still balling. And I'm like, when is he going to fall
league
off?
balling? Like,
yeah. So maybe that's the reason why you still kind of criticize him, because you're like, well, I mean, look how he's playing. But that team just was never destined to work, man. It almost was like they went with a couple big names and, you know, AD and Westbrook, and that was it. Like, they didn't really have a deep bench. They didn't really have solidified role players. I mean, no disrespect to Melo, but Melo didn't even bring the Melo that was who was he with before? He was playing really well.
Blazers.
Yeah. That Melo didn't even show up.
Nope.
And it's like, come on, man, the West is too strong now.
But see, that's the thing, Sim, with that, even with that point there, when he was on the Blazers, he fit the role. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
LA, there's nothing really defined. The way LA's offense looks for the most part is everyone stands on the perimeter and throw it to LeBron. And that's it. And let him figure it out. When LeBron's not on the floor, it's a free-for-all, basically. And that's the difference. The Trailblazers had structure, and Melo just had to fall in line somewhere in there. And they had a spot for him there. He comes to LA, it's nowhere near the same situation. Even though, we won the ring, and all right, we could run it back, and we could do all the. It's like, no.
Yeah.
These guys, these teams that you guys are able to beat off of just sheer talent, level, or just we got enough stars, we're good. Now these dudes can match your star power with an actual team. Yep. That's the difference.
It's difference.
Just like when the 04 Pistons won, they won because they had a team. Not just because, we got Ben Wallace and Sheed and all. No. It wasn't just. It's because of how that team played, and they had a bench too. LA ain't have nothing except star power. And it's like the same case here, except it's reverse polarity because the star power didn't matter at all. And yeah, even with injuries, but still, it's just like they still are all, like I said, they're standing on the perimeter. Give it to Bron. All right, what's LeBron going to do? Is LeBron going to shoot it, pass it? Is LeBron asking me for a screen? Does he want me to screen? Oh, you want me to go baseline? Oh, all right, I'll do that. Like it's like you know what I mean? Once again, he's not bought in. They're not all bought in as one. It's not like we know LeBron's the leader, but this is a team. The bad boy Pistons knew Isaiah was the main guard, but at the same time, they still had other guys on the team. Like everybody was involved. Everybody was bought in. So that's where the problem lies.
Yeah. I don't know what happened in LA. Because I mean, again, like just looking at the chat, I could definitely tell that some people love LeBron, some hate him. Listen, I'm not making excuses for him. He is who he is. His style of play, his bringing the team together, how he affects the other four. We can criticize that all day. But things that we do know is his style has worked in the past. And I even saw somebody say, "Well, Wade won before he got there." Don't do that. You're not going to take away the ring that they won together as if it. Stop. Dwayne Wade was super young and he had Shaq when he won the first. Like, come on, man. Like, we're not, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not a LeBron advocate. To me, sometimes when I see the disdain for him and people trying to break down, I'm like, you're not gonna say this dude is not a great basketball player. I think everything that Smitty is saying is fair, but some people just blindly, oh man, he sucks. Come on, man. He don't. He just may not be the guy who galvanizes everyone like another player might do. Like Smitty said, this team itself, this Laker team, it just wasn't a team. And that was the issue. And I think that falls on everybody. Him, Vogel, the players around him. You want to put a lot of the blame on LeBron because he's the leader? Fine. But in my opinion, Miss Smitty knows I'm on record saying this. At this stage of his career, as far as at LA, LeBron should have been the second option. I've been saying that. Anthony Davis should be the dude who's dominating, and LeBron can take some of the weight off of him. That's how, to me, I think that's how LeBron should be eating now. Still can ball, but he shouldn't be the guy. Anthony Davis should be the young bull down there cooking. And what does he do? Even when he's on the court, he don't never want to play in the paint. This dude shooting from here, shooting from. I'm like, dog, can you please play like a big man? And man, but whatever. I don't have a dog in the race. I like LeBron as an all-time great, and I'll leave it at that. I won't, dispute anyone's opinion about him. Because like I said, I'm just not the basketball inside out guy, but some of the disrespect I think he gets is crazy.
Yeah, it is a bit extra piled on top, you know what I'm saying? And it's because, but see, the thing is, it's because he ushered in a culture where everybody clicked up with each other and all that stuff. And I know people try to bring up, different teams prior to him and say, oh, well, what about Barkley, Olajuwon, and all that? Like those guys were at the end of their prime when they got together. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like, when Barkley went to Phoenix, they were good, but they didn't have a superstar tandem, or trio for that matter. So, but I mean, look, I'll just say this about the Wade thing real quick. When he was talking about D Wade,
Yeah,
look,
nobody's
no
discrediting
one's
Wade at
throwing
all.
shade
What
on
are you
Wade.
talking about?
The reality, Wade was young, and he was like 3 years into his NBA career. You still had Shaq was still starting all-star games when they won that title. Alonzo Mourning was on that team, still effective. The guy that wasn't really effective at all was really Gary Payton and what's my man's name? Antoine Walker. He did a little something, but
Even
he
my boy
wasn't.
gave some work out there. Old White Chocolate was out there balling.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like he had Dwayne Wade was able to rise to stardom, to the superstardom off of that.
Yeah.
He rose up that season and he really shined through in the playoffs. But man, he had a nice cast. That's the thing you got to understand.
That's all
it's not like he just threw the team. All right, I got you. Please, Shaq was still dominant. You know what I'm saying? Shaq was still doing Shaq. Zoe was out there being the defensive presence that he was. Like you said about Jay Williams and all that. So it's like he had some effective guys on his team. You know what I'm saying? So,
and that's all we're saying.
Let's not get it wrong. Like they didn't go. They went 7 games with the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years for a reason. And it's not like they strongly upgraded their team either. So that's what I'm just saying. Like, just remember, like, so he had a decent team with him too. I mean, like I said, he rose up to stardom and he did shine through and he did shine as the MVP. And yeah, he definitely was the finals MVP.
Absolutely.
But it's not like he got there with pennies on the dollar to make it there. No, he had a legit team.
I love Flash. Like he was that dude.
No, Wade's a beast.
That's what I'm saying. When you start, it's weird. Again, Terrence, I'm not saying you're doing this, but this is what happens sometimes when you start talking about a player and somebody doesn't necessarily like them. Like you can't say, oh well, Wade was a champion before. Yeah, but him and LeBron together that team at one point was dominant. The two of them. That's all I'm saying. It's like you can't take that part away and say, oh, well, Wade was that dude before. Yeah, he was. But that doesn't take away from what him and LeBron did together in Miami. I just don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get the overly attacking of LeBron. Like I said, there's fair criticism that can be, criticism that can be sprinkled around. But some people be way over the top. I don't get it. And even like today, y'all know sometimes I take whatever Stephen A. Smith say with a grain of salt. Some things I agree with, some things I don't. Like today, I think I saw a clip of them saying, "Oh, he is definitely out of the GOAT conversation now because I'm like, in my opinion, he never was in there. LeBron, yes, is a great, but can we put that whole Jordan versus LeBron thing to rest, please? There was never going to be another Michael Jordan as far as what he did. Nobody else has gone to 6 finals and never went to a game 7. Now, I know people are always going to say Bill Russell, but look, that's the same reason why I don't compare LeBron and Jordan. They don't play the same position. Bill Russell don't play. Like, I don't understand that type of talk when people, oh, this guy was the best. Oh, no, to me, it's errors. But you're always comparing Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. Kobe came the closest in terms of what they actually did on the court, number of finals and finals wins. That's why I never put LeBron in the conversation of being better than Jordan. If you want to say athletic-wise or whatever, that's your opinion. But dog, the dude had 2 3-peats and never went to a game 7. Come on. In the finals. Like that's unheard of. So the conversation is over. Also, let me give LeBron some credit. How many finals did he go straight, Smitty? Was it 10? 10 straight final appearances or something like that? Or
LeBron?
That's incredible. That's incredible. I know he didn't win them all, but you got to give him his credit for that. So I don't know. I'm just different. I'm just different. I just don't compare the greats like that, and I don't think LeBron deserves as much criticism as he gets. And even like this comment here, Braun faced tougher competition in the finals than MJ. That's debatable, man. Like we can't outright say that. You can and you can't. And the reason why I say that is because it's eras. The eras are different. It's just the eras were different. So there won't no Steph Curry's back then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It won't.
See, they'll say that, but then they'll also say, look at how many star players were on the opposite team that LeBron played against versus the star players that that Jordan played in. I mean, you got to remember Jordan played in an era where teams didn't shoot 10 threes a game. You know, I mean, a team, like, that's unheard of if you have a team shoot that many threes.
Eras, man.
This era, shooting 10 threes is nothing. You know, now that's nothing for one
10.
player. That's what I'm saying. That's nothing for a player, one guy to shoot.
The Joker might shoot 10 of them things in a game.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a different game. Like,
it's a different game, man.
The sport, but how it's played today is different than how it was played then. That's why you even have NBA players, you know, that have played and stuff like that would say like, oh, Jordan would average 50 today. And it's like, yeah, I don't blame it because they don't touch it. They're nowhere near as physical as that game and as open as it is in terms of shot selection on the floor. Man, he'd be feasting. He averaged 37 in a much tighter NBA, and he didn't have that great of a jump shot at that point in time either. So
imagine you not being able to hand check Jordan at all. You can't put a body on him. Come on, man. What?
That's what I'm saying. It's a whole different game. If you, man, please. That's what
my man Barkley be out here cooking right now.
You kidding me?
Come on.
Oh my gosh. See, that's what I'm saying. The eras and how they played based off of those eras are extremely different. You can't hand check. There's all kind of rules are much different in comparison to how it is now. Man, please, you kidding me? A regular personal foul in the 90s would be a flagrant 2 today. Like
bad boy Pistons, dog.
Yeah, bad boy, man. Hey,
yo,
that whole team be ejected.
Man, come on, man.
They got a forfeit, man. They all gone.
That's the Jordan rules. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the Jordan rules weren't even the Jordan rule. The way this game is officiated now laughs at the Jordan rules now. They'd be like, Jordan, those are Jordan rules? I got it better than you had. You know what I mean? Like, that's that's what I'm saying. All those eras and stuff matter because look, if LeBron was playing in the 90s, would he be a good player? Yes, I believe he would be.
Yeah, he got the build for it.
He would, he's definitely got the physique. I mean, you had smaller dudes like Sean Kemp. He got a bit bulkier over his career, but he was never the size of a LeBron, and he was joking on cats. Yeah. So Bron would have definitely handed it.
That one dunk will always be one of my favorites when he hit him with
Lister. Oh yeah, what are the things?
Yo, I'm getting ejected from that game, dog. I might have got dunked on, but they gonna remember that I slapped this. No pun intended. I know what happened at the Oscars. But I'm telling you, you ain't dunking on me and hitting me with this joint while I'm on the ground. Yo, that's one of the best highlights of all time. What made him do that? He just like you.
No, he pointed at him because I think dude had tried to foul him hard earlier in the game. So it was like Kemp went up, dude fouled him hard. He still made the shot, and then he shoved him like he was legit mad. So when he banged it on him, and then he fell down, that's when he was like, ha ha, like,
oh my God, like, disrespectful. That one and the Pippen one when he pushed Ewing.
Oh
like,
yeah, Ewing.
You ain't doing that to me. I'm telling you. It's gonna be like the Malice in the Palace. Dog, you're not doing that to me in front of the no, you're not. I'd rather be at the press conference saying, yo, I had to snuff him, man. He ain't doing that to me on TV.
Yeah.
Make everybody forget all about the dunk. Man. That man.
Yeah.
Oh. Sean Kemp was a bad boy, man.
Yeah, and that's like what Isaiah has said real quick, and I know we could go next topic, but like what Isaiah said about Charles Oakley when he made his point about Giannis, and he was saying how Giannis wouldn't be able to do all that in the 80s and everything, and he was like, yes, he would, because he said the way that Giannis compares is to Ralph Sampson, and that is the best comparison. Yeah. Because Ralph Sampson was 7. Think about this, y'all. I mean, you can look him up now, obviously. 7'4", can run the floor, handle the ball, got a jump shot, and can attack the rim. And he was doing it all. And he was like, if he never got injured, he would have been the face. He would have been that guy because he was that good. And it's like, when you look at Giannis, he's like, okay, we know Charles Oakley could hit, but it's like, after you hit him, that's all you got. And once he realized that's all you got, he's going to run all over you. And he's like, that's the point. Guys like that, like that's why when you look at LeBron and then people say, man, he wouldn't be able to. It's like, I wouldn't necessarily
he wouldn't
say
been able to. You're right. Giannis would have been able to play back then.
Yeah. Like them dudes would have been able to play. Like y'all got to remember, Allen Iverson, 79, 80 pounds soaking wet and was hanging. I mean, it was 96, but still. He was hanging. You think John Morant wouldn't be able to hang? You think Russell Westbrook wouldn't be able to do anything to
Russell
somebody?
Would have been able to play. Yeah.
Yeah, them dudes would have been these stars today would be hanging then too. Like, oh, don't get me wrong. They would still be playing.
If you really think about it, Giannis is like a brute strength type of guy anyway. Like his game is just power. You know what I mean? Ain't no a lot of finesse. Like he would have worked. He would have been able to play back then.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Have.
I mean, Kevin Willis lasted 20 some odd years for crying out loud. He was like 42, 43.
Big dude.
Yeah, but he was in shape. That's the thing. He was built like from his younger days on through his career. So Giannis would definitely hang. But
yeah. Well, that's why, guys, we wanted to throw that one out there first because we knew that would be the longest topic. The other ones really ain't gonna take that long, but we could jump right into the EA stuff. The question is, man, what is going on with EA? And for those of you that don't know, I mean, EA Play being canceled is a little strange to me. Let's address the two elephants in the room. Okay. Madden just hasn't been a great game. It's so funny, man, because I still play it in the one league. And the reason why I play the game from time to time is Smitty knows this from our days and when we go down to EA. You know, I learned the game in and out as far as the real deficiency. So I will play it from time to time just so I could keep up to date with, all right, what's really going on here? What's wrong? And it's so weird because Madden 22 actually has moments. It's the weirdest thing, man. It has moments. Like if you play it on a consistent basis or if you play against a like-minded person, you can see what they've been trying to build, if you want to say that. And I say trying because the things that's wrong with the game completely destroys it at times. The fact that you still have those two-man sequences that must play out in some situations destroys the experience. The fact that you haven't fully replicated inaccurate passes, that's like the fake inaccuracies. Y'all all have seen this, right? You have a guy on a slant or whatever. He has 2 or 3 steps on the DB. It's not warped, okay? The guy doesn't warp because they've tried to get rid of that, right? But what happens is this guy's inaccurate. He's so inaccurate, he throws the ball behind the receiver. even though you're trying to throw it in the front, and it goes right to the DB who's 3 yards behind him. Y'all all have seen it, the undercut interception. And then you go and look at the replay, the user didn't get a speed burst or anything. It's just because it decided at this moment that this guy is going to be wildly inaccurate, which it happens, yes. But y'all know what I'm saying. This happens in Madden so many times that I'm sure all of y'all have seen it. That's what I'm saying. It's not random enough to where you could believe, oh, he's just inaccurate. And this is a time when the feet are set, you are holding to the far left if he's coming across this way, and the ball still doesn't pass lead. It chooses when it wants to do that. It's little stuff like that. But then there's those moments where there's no shift, there's no warp. I've seen DBs react the way they're supposed to. And then there's these other times when they just stand there like they don't know what's going on. It's like, it's almost like the game is fighting itself. And at this point, that's why we're all sitting here saying, man, look, it's a wait and see for us on Madden every year. Maybe one day they'll make the game that we're all happy to say, oh, this game is nice. None of us are probably right there at this point. So that's why we don't talk about it as much as we used to, because we all know what it is. They're so close to being able to making a great game. Yes, I said that. They're close. Think about what I mean when I say close, and then I'll move on. Get rid of them two-man sequences that force these outcomes in key situations, like sometimes when you pass, because they've tried to remove it with rat catching and all of that, right? It needs to be gone everywhere. It needs to be gone in the trenches. When you go by somebody, that sequence of the tackle, all of that stuff needs to go. Turn physics on at all times. Make physics dictate animations. What do I mean by that? Animation might play out, but physics will decide how it ends. Physics should be able to augment every single human, well, not human, but body-to-body interaction. Physics should come into play. I'm cool with you having a triggered animation as long as the physics determines how the animation finishes. And then you got to have real AI. You got to have real AI where guys are just not covering grass. I want to see these dudes looking for work. I'm not asking for my DB to make every PBU or make every interception. I am not. I still will enjoy a game if my DBs ain't that great. They just getting dotted up. But I would like to be able to go in a replay and see what the thought process was. So all we ask. You fix all of that. We all talking about how good of a game we just played last night against so and so. And that's why I always say it's close, man. And maybe one day we'll wake up and they've made it. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. But the other elephant, Battlefield. What in the world happened? Now, I still play it from time to time just to get my shooter fix in. But what happened? Was that an EA thing or a DICE thing? Because DICE has been consistent. I don't get it. And then, we saw the same type of foolishness happen with Battlefront, also produced by DICE. So if it is DICE or if it ain't DICE, it's still an EA conglomerate, if you will. So I still have to put the whole thing under the EA umbrella. You have these two games that are flagship games that are just not up to par. We have not heard anything else about NBA Live. It seems like that game is completely done. Excuse me. We know that they're working on a college game. They've already told us for the most part that it's going to be on the same engine as Madden. Me and Smitty could have told you that 4 years ago. And now there's no EA play. What does that tell us, Smitty? Like, what? Huh? Because, folks, EA play is not for us. EA play is to draw the attention of those who may not be playing these games, right, and show all of these brand new IPs that we have and all of this stuff. So for them not to show that to the common person,
that's a lot.
That is very strange, brother.
And there's no E3 either, apparently, this year.
Oh, well, hold on. So now I didn't know that.
They're two separate events, though, Sim. That's the thing.
I know,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but it's everything is a copycat league, though. So
yeah.
now here's the flip side to the coin. Agreeing with I think where Smitty's mind is going. You would think if you get this big old convention out of the way, now this is the time for you to do your solo thing because now the attention is all on you.
Yeah,
that's how I would approach it. But maybe it is one of those situations of where nobody's really doing conferences anymore. But let me say this last thing, then I'll throw it to Smitty because I'm gonna run over here and throw something in the dryer real quick. But my question is, EA, do y'all think y'all have the luxury to do that? Y'all ain't got the luxury to sit back and not show nobody nothing. No, y'all don't. Because two of your bigger games, people have complained about them tremendously this year. The complaints on Madden first and then Battlefield, that crowd. You got people like Jack Frags, they ain't even playing the game, dog.
Westy,
like, come on, man. And then you have the nerve to not like you think you can sit back and not have no EA play? Okay. What you think going on over there, Smitty, man? Is anything to be worried about, or is it just coincidence, or what? What are your thoughts, man?
I think to a degree that it is coincidental. But at the same time, EA Play, the whole point of EA Play as well was to be that standalone event where EA can showcase what they got without having to be, pushed to the back or mixed in with all these other games that would usually be part of an E3 presentation or a console presentation. So it's like, here's your own stage, and y'all like, we ain't even gonna come to the stage this time, y'all. And the thing about it is that if these dudes don't show anything, I mean, Madden, I'm not surprised because once again, people turn in like crazy looking for Twitch drops, Good Morning Madden, all that stuff and everything. So I'm not gonna fully say they're really concerned like that. Not to the fullest. But I think that as far as Madden, and like Sim has said earlier, EA Tiburon as well as DICE, these guys are being told what they're able to do, how they're able to operate, how they're able to conduct business, how they're able to develop games. Because think about it. Star Wars Battlefront 2. When the game first came out and how those guys had played it, how they talked about it, those devs kept closed mouth. They didn't say anything until EA, because remember they had the microtransaction front heavy, all that stuff and everything. We talked about that before, and then the community backlash, etc. And then they reverted it, put it out, but they had the devs had all this DLC, all these different things they created, and they didn't get the green light to really put that stuff out there until powers that be let them. Because I've seen some devs that were tweeting out like when they re-released Battlefront 2 with all of the DLC and all the content, you had devs tweeting about it like this is, I mean, they didn't say it word for word, but the tone that I got from the messaging, it's like this is what we wanted to do all along, but we had to do it this way. We had to give it to y'all in little bits and pieces. We wanted y'all to have the mother load up front day one. And see, when you look at what's going on with excuse me, with Madden, I mean, we've told y'all 10 million times how that is. You know what I mean? Because DICE worked on Battlefront, did all that work they did. They've done these other Battlefields. Clearly, corporate hands played a role in this. And they didn't get to do things the way they wanted to. I mean, one of the main lead developers from DICE left not too long ago. So it's like that says a lot too when it happens, i.e. Rex Dixon leaving Madden. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when you lose key guys that are in key positions, that says a lot. You know, Rex left EA shortly after getting a promotion. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's something that is being done on an executive level where that corporate greed kicks in. And it's like they think they can keep on playing it that way. And it's okay. It's not okay. You can't keep on doing that stuff. And I've said it before. It may take a while, but it's going to bite you in the butt. Now, I'm not truly worried about Madden because, like I said, Good Morning Madden, people be worried about Twitch drops. Let these dudes drop a new MUT program. They all on it. You can see all the MUT guys talk about, man, we talk about gameplay issues and this, that, and the third. They never move. They move real slow. As soon as there's an issue with MUT, they own it. And it's like they've been saying that same message for years, and people still buy it, still play it, still complain about mass amount of things. And then they still went over at the end of the day. EA is about to cash all the way freaking in on John Madden's legacy, especially since that man died. Oh, man. Madden 23, come on, man.
That.
They are about to cash all the way in. They are a business, okay? We all about to see that to the fullest.
Give me the game, baby.
That's what I'm saying. And listen. If they come out with like some kind of steel book, legacy, whatever kind of it, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna try to get one. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, because I've been rocking with it that long, I'm gonna try to get one of them boys. But as far as the game, though, am I like, yo, this game about to be lit, and that's why I'm not saying like, yo, I'm excited to get Madden because the gameplay is going to be that stellar. And one thing about it, shout out to Hollywood Sports. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter or not, Sim, but Hollywood's been consistent with reaching out to Clint, tweeting at him, I should say.
Yeah, I've been seeing that.
Hey, how you doing? What's going on, etc. He wouldn't say anything, and he finally got back to him, and he's going to actually do an interview with him. But he said, I don't know if he put out a regular video or he just said on Twitter, but he said basically they're going to set something up between June and July. So they're basically going to talk about the new Madden at that point in time. So that's what, like, shout out to him.
That's cool, man. I'm
like,
happy for Hollywood too, man. You know, he deserves something like that because he keeps it the way we all should. He give criticism, but he keeps it respectful. And I think people always got to remember that Clint and all these people are human beings too. Like, are you going to talk to somebody who keeps saying F you, F that, F you ain't, you going to be like, man, later for that. So that's why I never understood that approach. But, if you really are trying to learn about the game or try to see what you could do to help it, then that's how you should approach it. But
exactly.
I don't know.
But I mean, as far as Madden as a title, it's like, am I expecting a lot out of Madden 23? No.
Nope. We'll see.
Not all whatsoever. All I can say. I mean, we'll just see what happens. Whatever their roadmap is for updating the game, whatever. It's freaking April. And we still don't have that last update yet. Like, the previous update ain't mean nothing. It's like, bro, y'all might as well just, like I said, they could have canceled it and just said, man, we'll roll this in the next game because it ain't nothing. Ain't nothing spectacular they're going to do at this point. Like, it'd be one thing if, like Sim said, if the gameplay was like, I wouldn't say stellar, but if it was a heck of a lot more digestible, than what we got right now, then yeah, I'll be like, okay, it's a nice little update. I mean, they mad late though, but okay, the game still is not in a bad spot. The game's been in a horrible spot since launch, and it's like, no, there's no way I can okay it and be like, oh yeah, I'm good with the. And no, man, it's got to be better than that. So I'm hoping to see that Madden 23 is going to do something decent. I mean, look, if they do something decent, we know that it's going to get nerfed to some degree. Like, we might as well just forget it. It's going to, whatever good is done, it's going to get nerfed. And now how bad, we don't know. And we'll just have to wait and see on that. So, but yeah, man, no EA Play is not good.
That's crazy.
No NBA Live. EA don't even need to worry about doing Fight Night. I know we're not talking about ESBC this week. I'm going to be honest. I've only seen like one video of any of those guys since they came back. So it's like, I couldn't give y'all a healthy take.
I only watch
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I want to watch Showbiz's. I want to watch some of these other guys' impressions.
Other people. Yeah.
Before before wanting to talk about it on here and get into that. But we will. But the sad part is there still is no street date.
Nope.
So it still is up in the air if this game is even going to come out this year or not. So, and that's according to those guys. So we don't know.
What's cool? It was cool for us to hear, but maybe not for others. What was cool to hear from Fanatico is it reminded me of some of the states we've seen Madden in.
Yeah.
Like just listening to him, and I was like, oh man, I'm so happy that somebody else in the gaming community can experience that. Me and Smitty have seen the word he's using, alpha, pre-alpha, beta.
Pre-alpha,
we've seen all of that. We have played Madden where it was just like we were playing in the clouds.
Yep.
Uniforms weren't colored. There's nobody on the sideline. It's just a white fit. Like, we have seen the game where it's this one bug that you could trigger every time. And it was cool to hear that because that let me at least know, oh, yeah, they actually working on the game. Like, it is actually going through the processes that we know about. That was actually a good thing. But even though he was, well, like I said, we won't get into that until we discuss it probably maybe next week. He was saying that there was things that he could definitely see. And that's all I wanted to hear. Yep. That's all I wanted to hear. And that game will come out when it comes out. So, but real quick, man, I wanted to touch on this comment really fast. There's some truth here to what JD is saying. Shout outs to JD. And I will explain. He says, I think we've been playing Madden so long, we expect too much. Madden fatigue. No sports game is great. And Madden 22 is a good game. So let me just comment on the points that I will agree with. Well, let me phrase it like this. Most of us, especially guys like myself and Smitty, some of the critique comes from the past in terms of depth. We remember what Madden of old had as far as the depth of the game, franchise mode and all that. We remember all that. So that's always going to be a knock on the current day Maddens. We all know the story. For you guys that don't know, when they went to 360, someone came up with the bright idea of trying to tear down the whole thing and rebuilding it. They didn't port over. They have not recovered since then. If you remember that. Remember when the 360 was out and the games on the previous generation still had all of the bells and whistles? That was your living proof right there. They never recovered from that. So what has happened from then is some of those features that we were like, hey, what's up with this? They haven't been top priority in all these years. And slowly at a snail's pace, they're trying to reintroduce some of this stuff. So that's one of the reasons why some of us old school guys from remembering the days of Madden 04, 05, 06, and all of that, that's part of it. Another part of it, too, is it ain't just the gameplay. Because honestly, the gameplay as a total is better than what them old games were. As a total. I'm not talking about everything. I'm just saying, in its total, it's better than the games we played in 04. as far as the way they move. All of that is better now. So I think what JD is saying, if you play Madden 22 enough, you see these moments where you like, this could be a good game. I'm telling y'all, it's not a lot they have to do. It's little things that they have to address that will totally change this game. And me and Smitty are always going to sound this way because, again, we had the behind the curtain look. So our opinion is going to come off a little more aggressive, I guess, when we say, oh, this game is in a bad state, because we know the ins and outs and why the coverage is still doing this and why it's different for us. And I will say that, and then we can get off it. To me, with Madden 22, it wasn't so much of how horrible the gameplay was. It was the things that didn't work. Like coverage is, come on, man. Some of that coverage, especially at the beginning of the year, was completely broken.
Yes.
And that's the stuff that we're saying. Like, it got a little better. You can see, like, if you play the game now, cover 3 and those things work a little better, but it's still now we're going to think about, well, still, I like to see these guys react more than just play an area. But before, when guys like Zan and Relly and those guys got their hands on the game early, completely broken, dog. Completely not doing the assignments. That's the stuff when we say the game is in a bad state. Because there's still moments where, just my opinion, it should never be a time where a defender is watching a guy and he just lets him run right past him. What's going on with that? Don't even react to him. And that's what we're saying. In 2022, the game should be further along with AI and all of that. So, as a whole, I've said it before, I don't think Madden 22 is a trash game. It has its moments, but because of the deficiencies that it has, it makes it hard to play it like and enjoy it over and over and over, because those ugly moments just seem to creep up, man, when it just, you'll get that warp situation, or you'll get that phantom tackle, like the one when you pass the guy and he dives at your shoe. It's the same animation. Like, come on, man. Like, that kind of stuff, they got to get rid of all of that. They just have to, and I know this is a cliche thing to say, but they just have to make the game flow the way FIFA does and NHL. They're not perfect, but just imagine if Madden flowed like those games. We having a different conversation. But he might be right, though. I think I will say this, some people, I think, you kind of listen to some of this. Some stuff is an over expectation, because some people are asking for stuff we've never seen. And it's fair to ask for that. But to even say, I don't think it's fair to say, well, if 2K made a game, they would know. We don't know that. We don't know that. Them 2K games had some horrible things going on too. It was better. I think All Pro Football replicated very well, but that game had some horrendous bugs in it. But we didn't complain as much because the total experience. I'll steal from Smitty here. He used to always say, man, it's about the efficiency rate. Like, things are going to happen, but if 75 to 80% of the time the game is playing like it's supposed to, that's a good game. And I agree with that. And 2K did that very well. So
yeah. I just want to just throw this in there real quick. This also, just to cap it, is the reason why Madden 05, Tony Bruno show, franchise mode death through the roof, which was a playoff of Madden 04. The functional efficiency rate absurdly high in this game. Passing controls in this game are better than what we got today.
Better than
still
today.
run animations. Well, you could even, and that's sad, you could even dispute the run animation quality in this.
Player movement is like that now, though. I will give Madden credit.
I'll give them the player movement part, but then Madden.
But them animations when my man doing the neck.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even a little, and see, again, this is how so far in the weeds me and Smitty go. It's a cute little touch that they have in 22 now, where when you running with effort, the guys, you can see him trying to And actually, I remember talking to the devs about that when I noticed it in the beta, and it was like, yeah, that was the intention, is to, differentiate between running, sprinting, and like trying to. I said, okay, that's a nice touch. Mm-hmm. Those are the things, man. That's where 2K excels in NBA 2K. That the little details that replicate. They got to keep working on that and the gameplay itself. But if they could keep doing that kind of stuff, we just don't have any faith that they will, man. That's the sad part.
Man, 07. Run controls, run game, lead blocking controls. The Senior Bowl added the franchise mode and being able to bring your draft. I mean, you could bring your draft class over, but you could put your draft class in here and play the Senior Bowl with them if you wanted to. Come on, dog. And then, relocating teams, customizing weather, stuff like, relocating teams, budgets, etc. You actually had player morale in terms of where they want to go, weather, position battling, agents contacting you about their player getting PT. That was all in here.
That is the stuff.
Your physics still are not in the ballpark of this, but you got other games, FIFA, not MLB, FIFA, NHL. They're in this realm already. Madden ain't even, it's barely tapping that. And then you still got the license, ESPN. This game obliterates you in that area. Man. And once again, you got gameplay elements in here that are sharper. You have AI tendencies, especially with coverage, that are sharper in this than Madden today. And then we already know what the franchise mode is all about in that game. So that is why people in the in the chat here, you see what I'm saying, go the way they go and feel the way they feel about it. So it's like no one is saying the game is perfect, but I just gave you 5 reasons. In these games, look at this cover is, you can't see the quality in the camera, but the price is faded, old price like this is old. This is a 2004
dog.
This is old.
And that's the thing. If EA can do this, and that's the whole point of when me, Smitty, Azure, Brozels, even Moody and Apex, way back in the day, that was what created our mentalities and our approach in YouTube was, hey man, y'all did this before. That's always our objective. You did this before. We're not asking EA and Madden to do anything that they haven't done. There was a time when that stuff was important.
Right.
And you can't dispute that.
There was no MUT. That franchise mode was your MUT. That was your ultimate team. Because if you want people playing your game, you got to give people reasons to come back to it. And it's like they quit because they found another route with Ultimate Team. So it's like we ain't got to go as hard. And that's the point. So it's like it's not fair to see. So it's not fair when you see other games that have it. MLB The Show, NHL. NHL just built it recently, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? NHL, NBA 2K, PES, FIFA, all these, every other sports game dang near has it, at least in every genre. You can say they have it. Madden doesn't, and I'm talking about the mainstay sports. I know golf is on a different level. That's different, and tennis and stuff. But I'm just saying, as far as like soccer, baseball, the games that are mainly the more popular sports, I should say, that are out there like that. But still, we're mainly talking about football, basketball, and we use FIFA and NHL to compare and stuff like that, but still, it's like, come on, dog. So, yeah, this stuff is too old. Like these are relics, man. Like I don't want to fire those old games up and be playing that, and it makes me mad. Listening on the radio, talking about the draft upcoming, and it's like I ain't got a game to play unless I play 2K or something like that. I don't have a game to play because I want to play a game where players feel diverse. Like it would be awesome to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna sim a season, do a mock draft, put the prospects in. Excuse me, put in those draft prospects and have at it, because the game, it feels different. Players feel different. You know what I mean? Not everyone looks and moves the same. Just the only difference is a numerical value. Like, no, it's got to be more to it than that. And Madden isn't that.
And that's the thing, man.
Yeah,
they can do it. And people will say this all the time. Oh, they don't know football. Oh, they're not capable. That is a lie, folks.
No, they are capable.
They can. They can do it. Yeah. We all know why it's not done. It's not a priority to the heads. They can do it. Exactly. Some of the best franchise features we ever seen was in Madden before. Head coach. They can do all of that, and they definitely can Madden could make the greatest gameplay in the world if they wanted to, because EA has deep pockets. They can go find the best engineers, best designers. They could do all of that. Again, let me remind you, there's a guy on the staff by the name of Clint Oldenburg who played in the NFL. These guys know football. That's what's so frustrating, is that it has not been a priority. And that's,
yeah. I mean, remember, I don't know if we told y'all before or not, but when Rex was still there, he was trying to get Vince Wilfork on the payroll.
Vince Wilfork.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
we've been there when Albert Morris was in the building. Yeah. I've been there. I'm actually in a picture. I got it on my phone. And what's his name? Steve Young was there. We was there when Jameis Winston was there. We didn't get a chance to meet Jameis, but they talk to NFL coaches all the time. The devs do. So again, like, I don't even want to go down that road, because people always want to debate that. But I'm just saying, we can end that debate right there. They are more than capable of producing a game that we're asking for. It's just not a priority for those people up there that decide on budgets and decide on where we're going to spend our money, our time, and effort this year. That's it. That's why we're so frustrated. Mm-hmm. We should not be talking like this about a Madden NFL game in 2022. When you think back to the day you played Madden 04 and Madden 05, if you're like me, remember when you used to say to yourself, man, what's next year game going to be like? Exactly. We don't have that no more.
So dumb.
We don't have that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like this.
It's like,
I don't want to go down the Madden road. Bottom line, EA, there's something going on there. I think we shall see. Yeah. And I see my man still is 412 in here. Listen, I'm gonna just say this real quick. I'm keep telling y'all, don't be surprised if they don't trade up to go get Malik Willis. Do not be surprised if Desmond Ridder is on the Steelers team. I have a super strong gut feeling that they like that dude more than y'all do. Ooh, of course, Willis is the guy. We know that. Willis is to me, the only. He's probably the only premier guy in terms of other teams might be out here battling who's going to get him.
He's the safest risk.
Yeah, only because of his potential. Yeah. Kenny Pickett is going to get picked. Corral maybe too. I think Howell and Ridder, those guys will probably push further down. But, it's always that one or two quarterbacks that a team is going to swing for the fences, move up and draft him. I think Malik Willis is that, just off of what his potential capability is. I'm not saying he's the best one in the class. This class isn't strong. But once you get past him, it's open season. The Steelers have said they're going into camp with 4 quarterbacks. More than likely, they said we're going to draft one. They have brought in him and Sam Howell for pre-draft visits. I'm telling you, don't be shocked if Ridder is on that team if they don't go get Willis.
Yeah, because they'll have to move up to get Willis, because Willis is going to be gone. He's going to be gone within those. I think they're saying within those first 10 picks.
Oh, he's going to be gone.
So
they got to go get him, especially with all that the wild trade that happened between the Saints and the Eagles. Now they got to get in front of the Saints. They need to get in front of maybe the Falcons. I don't know how the Falcons feel about Mariota. They definitely got to get in front of the Seahawks. It's so many teams, so many teams. But anyway, guys, we had that conversation on Tuesday. Last quick topic, guys, and we went a little over an hour tonight, but I think it's fair. We haven't done one of these in a while, but we'll knock out this topic relatively quick here. Just talking about free agency, man, and some of the moves, some of the new quarterbacks, and I've kind of talked about it on the Steelers podcast. So I'll definitely throw it to Smitty when he gets back here and just kind of hear his take. But I think it is very interesting, man, as far as the quarterbacks now. They're in the AFC. This is going to be a very, very interesting season, in my opinion. It just is. Deshaun Watson in the AFC North. Say what you want to say about him, but Deshaun Watson is Deshaun Watson. I would assume he can still play the way he used to play. He's not that old of a guy. Russell Wilson is in the AFC. Even a guy like Matt Ryan. You put him around a team like the Colts with Jonathan Taylor toting the mail, with them being able to play solid defense, you might see a different Matt Ryan. So it is going to be interesting, man. I think the shakeups with the quarterbacks have definitely made this AFC the must-see TV in terms of games. AFC West, holy moly. That is a strong division now. Again, adding Russell Wilson into that mix. I love Justin Herbert. Don't sleep on Derek Carr. Some people are not that high on him, but Derek Carr can win football games, man. When he can make some throws or two when he needs to. So it's going to be interesting. But like I said, Smitty, but before you jumped off, I've kind of talked about this on the Steelers podcast, so I'll definitely throw it to you. What are some of your crazy shakeups and free agencies? Some of the ones you didn't see coming. I would quickly say two ones I didn't see coming was Devontae Adams going to the Raiders, as well as Tyreek Hill being traded to the Dolphins and all of what they gave up. My goodness. Listen, I'll say this real quick. I know Chief fans lost their mind. I know football fans was like, why would you trade Tyreek Hill? And blah, 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 blah. Did you see how much they gave up for him? If I'm in Kansas City's front office, I'm still a businessman. We won a Super Bowl with this guy.
Right.
He did what we needed him to do. Him and Mahomes and Kelsey. Look, that bunch won us a Super Bowl. That's what we were expecting out of them. He was a part of that mix. So am I afraid to trade him away to get all of that back after the goal had already been attained? I think I would have made that trade as well. Because Tyreek wanted the bag. He was going to have to get paid here soon anyway. So they traded him at the right time. I know it was a shock, but I get it. When you're giving up that much. So those are my 2 cents, man. But what you got, Smitty?
Excuse me. I was honestly, it shocked me a little bit with Bobby Wagner.
Oh yeah.
Not huge shakeup shock on that one. The big one for me was the Deshaun Watson move.
That was crazy.
That was nuts. I mean, they gave all that. Look, it shook me up. But I should have said that earlier. But the thing is that the issue that I have with that trade is they gave up so much. And I mean, rightfully so, you got to justify it. But they gave up a whole lot and gave him that fully guaranteed $230 million deal.
That's dog.
Fully guaranteed deal.
That is nuts.
Like, that guy is your future right there for that. And I mean, I'm sorry. Like, you see, people got upset with us not with not making the move here in Detroit and not making a call at least or whatever. But why would the team leverage why would the team fully leverage his dang, it just slipped my mind what I was about to say.
I mean,
Why would the Lions leverage all their
yeah,
draft capital like that?
looking what it took to get him, I
That's what
understand
I'm
that.
saying. Like, I get it.
And
You
we don't
get your
know as
quarterback.
fans. I'm gonna say that I'll
Oh
speak
yeah.
for the
No,
Lions
go
and the
ahead.
Steelers.
Yeah.
We don't know. Like people be on Twitter, oh man, why they y'all don't know what conversations were. You never know. You know what I'm saying? But now you see what that deal. The Lions won't pay that man that money, nor were the Steelers, or not many teams. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Hey, look, get the money. But see, that's the thing. If the Detroit Lions were already in position to win and all they needed was a quarterback and they had all that capital, that's different. Then I could see them fighting for it. But when the Detroit Lions are not in position to win and you're still in the beginning building phases of your team, you need to build and establish your team. The Browns have a decent team. You know what I'm saying? They just made a change up at the quarter. Well, to me, in my opinion, a good upgrade based off of when he was last on the field with Deshaun Watson. So you leveraged a whole lot to get him, but the bottom line is you were able to get him.
Mm-hmm.
And not like it's not like you traded away Myles Garrett or Nick Chubb. You know what I'm saying? In order to do that. So you didn't do any of that. So you're in a good spot to go forward. Yes. All right, hold on. I'll be right back, Sim. Hold on a second.
No problem, brother. See, guys, this is exactly why we tell y'all, we condense the show and all of that because we have families. We have families and we are family men. So, it's really not much more left in the show anyway, but got to agree with what Smitty was saying there, man. Listen, I'm super happy for Deshaun Watson. No question. It's amazing him able to get that type of deal and to get it guaranteed. I said this a few years ago, and still as people know this because I said it on the podcast. When Kirk Cousins signed that deal, $87 million, fully guaranteed, or it was $84 million, 87 or 84. 3-year deal, fully guaranteed. I was like, boom. Thank you, Kirk Cousins. Or thank your agent, as a matter of fact, because it's time for the NFL contracts to start being a little more guaranteed than we're accustomed to seeing. So my hope was that we were going to see more fully guaranteed contracts, or at least the guaranteed portion of the contract would be higher. And we've started to see a rise in that over the last few years since that deal. And boom, it went from that to Deshaun Watson's deal. Crazy. But again, all teams ain't willing to take that kind of risk. So for all of you that feel like your team didn't make an attempt, number one, you don't know that. Number two, when you see what he was able to sign for, do you think your team was going to pay that? I surely didn't expect. I knew the Steelers weren't going to be in the market for nothing like that. So there you have it. But I definitely do think this has been quite a crazy offseason so far, man. We shall see what happens, in terms of the draft. But this free agency period has been wild. I mean, just people just popping up in new places. I just read on Twitter, I don't know how true it is, but I just read on Twitter, Steeler fans, if you're listening, that it's reports that the Steelers tried to make a play at Kareem Jackson, but he decided to, stay in Denver. So clearly, we know that they're trying to do something at strong safety. I don't expect it to be the Honey Badger unless he comes down on his price. And who knows what those conversations are. And it could end up being Terrell Edmonds coming back because I think without a guy like the Honey Badger and someone else, being signed right now, I think, Terrell Edmonds' market is not as high as he probably expected. I'm just saying, he has not been a superstar. But clearly the Steelers are trying to address the position. So that is very interesting. But outside of that, man, really don't have a whole lot else, Really don't have anything else. I'll wait for Smitty to get back before we shut her down. But I guess I'll just read a couple chats, man, and see what you guys got going on over here. Neff says, except Dallas, we made 0 moves at best. Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention to what Dallas was doing outside of the fact that, Cooper not being there is a little interesting. But who? I thought y'all signed somebody. I don't remember, but yeah, Amari Cooper not being back there, that's a little interesting. Nothing special, Neff. We were just saying it's just weird with EA, man, with the state that 2 of their flagship games have been in as far as the nationally, how many people have complained about Madden this past season, as well as Battlefield, and now they don't have an EA Play. EA Play was canceled. We're just trying to figure out what is actually going on there. What are your thoughts on Desmond Ridder, Sim? I think he may be the sleeper in this draft. Yeah, I've been saying that, man. I have a strong feeling if the Steelers don't move up to get Malik Willis, I have a personal feeling that they're going to draft a dude like Ridder over Sam Howell, possibly over Matt Corral. I think right now, the way it sits, Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis are going to go before the Steelers pick. So I feel like if the Steelers hold tight and they don't make any moves, Ridder could be a guy, man. They're bringing him in, or they've already brought him in for a pre-draft visit. So, yeah, as far as MLB The Show, yeah, that's right. Y'all signed James Washington. I knew it was somebody. I knew it was another receiver. Listen, James Washington might do work for Dallas. I think Dak is going to find him the football. I mean, if Dak was getting guys like Gallup, getting him involved along with CeeDee Lamb and along with Amari Cooper, then I think James Washington is going to see the football. And I tell you this, you're getting one heck of a football player. James Washington going to mess around and be solid for y'all because he's going to get opportunity. I still just don't understand what happened between him and the Steelers. Anytime this dude was in the game, he was productive. So I don't get it. But the only other thing I would say here, guys, before I wrap it up, MLB The Show, I have not bought MLB The Show 22, not because the game isn't great. I enjoyed 20 and 21. I still have. Honestly, I'm just being real with myself. I feel like I'm throwing away $60 or whatever it costs, $70, whatever it is now on these new consoles, because I just don't play it as much. I play it for a decent amount of time, and then it's like I don't go back to it. I don't know. I guess it's because it's the game of baseball. It just doesn't. I love the game, but I guess the sport itself doesn't keep my attention that long. So I find myself not playing it as long as I always say I'm going to do. Y'all know every year I've done the streams. I'm going to be streaming this, and then next thing you know, you don't see nothing. So that's the only reason why I'm hesitant to buy it. Only because I can enjoy MLB 21 just fine, and I already have that because that game is that good to me. So there you have it. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. And then I'll text Smitty on the back end. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I told you guys the shows are gonna be a lot shorter now. We try to do an hour. We did longer tonight, obviously, because we've been gone a few weeks. But it's primarily just gonna be a 1-hour show because of my obligations now, Thursday night and Friday morning. Got a lot of things going on. But anyway, definitely appreciate everyone coming out and tuning in. We love you guys for that. We should be back to you next week. Hopefully we got some more news to talk about. And in the meantime, we can talk about real life stuff if there's no gaming stuff to get into. But other than that, we do appreciate you guys. And we're going to sign. Oh, I was just telling them, Smitty, that, we're pretty much done anyway. So.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and roll. I was just reminding everybody about, the structure of the show now, and my obligations and stuff have changed on Thursday night. And tonight, I just stretched it a little longer because we've been gone a few weeks. But going forward, man, we're gonna try to stick to the schedule the best we can. And I was just saying, next week we'll talk about ESBC. And we'll give ourselves some homework. We'll watch some of the other guys' takes, and we'll kind of formulate all of those together and give our thoughts on their thoughts. And other than that, we can talk about some real world stuff if there's anything to get into. I'm gonna give y'all a teaser. Didn't get into it tonight, but next week I definitely want to address the Will Smith thing. Just briefly. Just briefly. We'll start the show with that. So, but all right, y'all. We appreciate it, man. Hope you all have a great night. Enjoy your weekend, and that's about all we got. Thanks for tuning in, and God bless. Good night. Be safe. Catch you guys next time.
Peace.